gracias a todos por estarem aqui. Mi español no es tan bueno cuanto mi inglés, entonces vamos a hablar en inglés si está bien para ustedes. Pero si quiere hacer una pregunta, yo comprendo muy bien español, puede hacer la pregunta en español. Durante la charla me interromper en cualquier momento. So, levanta tu mano. Ok. Este soy yo. My name is Alex Nascimento. I am a Brazilian American, so that's why you might think about what is this American looking like a Brazilian standing up there. And I teach blockchain at UCLA since 2017, when we really started to look at the university at how this technology would impact the world. I teach blockchain for finance and economics. I teach at the Masters of Data Science, which is namely the Masters of Quantitative Economics. And what I'm here today is not really to walk you through on how you can do things, because I think most of you are already very advanced in the stage. I'm here to provoke a thought of how the merge of AI and DeFi will really empower the ecosystem, right? And how are we seeing that at the university and a project that we're working on that I'm very proud of, and get your feedback and interact. So please feel free to interrupt me at any point and give me your thoughts. So we're really looking at how AI and DeFi are going to merge in the very near future. So we're going to go over a few things, a brief overview of DeFi, potential of DeFi, trading, what's really happening, DeFi and AR markets, key players, and this project that we're working on that I welcome you to participate. If you feel like, just come chat with me. So that's kind of like the bio I gave you guys. I've been teaching there since 2017, and we really work with the students of the Masters of Quantitative Economics to really organize data, right? And I think that here is where we're really looking at some really innovative things, which is the organization of data. If you're a good dev, you can develop on top of any protocol. But you really need to organize the data in order for your agents and for your bots to be able to do things that are interesting. So as we all know, and if someone here is not very familiar with DeFi, we can go into that. But decentralized finance represents a shift, not a shit, so I'm sorry for that typo, from traditional banking into enabling finances across the globe, right? So it really started with lending. If you look at DeFi from the ground level, you're talking about lending as a core product. And creating digital products on top of that is really where we see the industry going. And artificial intelligence, on the other hand, serves as this catalyst, which is augmenting the possibilities of what you can do with these money Legos, on how products of lending can interact with one and the other, and you can manage them. So these processes are, for people that are involved in the DeFi space, are very complex. So we can see how AI can really help users. And the project that we're working on is really looking at that intersection, how those two things come together. So what do we see the advantage here of bringing AI into DeFi? Process of large amounts of data. So currently we're collecting gigabytes of data by the hour at our lab, right? And we're organizing these data to predict market trends and automate trading strategies. If anyone here invests, sorry for that, on UniV3, on liquidity provision and how UniV4 is going to make that more accessible, that's really where we're trying to make a difference here, to utilize AI agents to manage those positions. And we really think that the future of finance is going to go into that direction, because what you're seeing is that DeFi in general is really giving people that didn't have access to lending or things like that to incredible yields. Sometimes these yields are very risky, but they're there, right? So you can certainly capture alpha in these protocols. But these protocols require them to be compliant, right, as we go into evolutions. Now, if people saw what happened this week, Ondo Finance issued about $2 billion worth of tokenized lending products, which are U.S. Treasury bills. And U.S. Treasury bills today is super popular. So that we're also seeing traditional finance go into that way. And how do you merge that with AI is really fascinating for us. So what are we really thinking that this is going to change here, right? So these AI-powered bots that we're creating are going to make these trades that are automatically for users. Because one of the big issues here is that if you try to manage your own portfolio across multiple DeFi protocols, you're going to have a really hard time managing positions. And trying to get alpha out of these positions is really where we think that there is a value here by predetermined market rules for execution of these trades. So the AI bots that we're working on are optimizing these trades and removing the human error out of it, right? So that we can bring users to the forefront of markets. Because what's happening today is that large players, large banks, or given institutional players in the industry are taking all the alpha given that they are using AI bots. So our angle is how can we bring these AI bots to the general audience? So here are some interesting numbers that I provoke you to think about what the future is going to be like, right? Today we have about $43 billion locked into DeFi protocols. But that number is supposed to grow at an average of 20% year over year for the next 5 years. And during the bull run, we ended up reaching about $200 billion. So you can make that we are in a bear market around 40, in a bull market around 200. We can take that number in a bear market and we're looking at like almost 17 billion in 5 years. But if you look at that from a bull market perspective, you could maybe be at $500 billion, right? Because the average estimated revenue in 2024 per protocol of the industry, it's going to be roughly 35 billion if we continue at this bear market trend. But we also look at the average per user, which is fascinating, right? Especially if you think about countries like Brazil, Argentina, or other developing nations where users, individual people, the individual investor doesn't really have access to really good yield products, especially in strong currencies like euros or dollars. And we're seeing that the average per user will be around $2,000. So if you think about every user playing in the DeFi space, obviously people lose money and gain money, they'll be able to make about $2,000 a year. That is a game changer for many people around the world. And that's really what we're trying to address here, is building these bots so that people can play in the space or can invest in the space with more optimal results. But you might think that this is only for developing nations. And it's really not. Because if we look, and this is an interesting data, most of the money in DeFi is happening today in the United States. And people say, oh, the United States, it's regulated, and you shouldn't be playing in the United States, you shouldn't be interacting in the United States. It's actually the opposite. Most of this money is coming from institutional traders in the United States that are looking at DeFi and how to extract alpha out of DeFi. So now we're solid here, right? We get that DeFi is a real trend. It's here to stay, and it's going to be a changing dynamic for most countries and most individuals in the world. But now, how does AI merge into that ecosystem, and where is the reference point there? We're looking at a growing, obviously AI is the hottest buzzword today, but we're looking at a growth rate of about 40% a year for AI. And fascinating enough, we think that AI is going to bring about $16 trillion by 2030 to the global economy. If you think, that's 10 times the Brazilian current economy, right? So it's massive what AI is going to do in the financial sector. And where we're seeing this really happen today? We're really seeing this happen today in the banking industry because of a couple of things that are happening, and DeFi is really helping. There's things like fraud detection, agents for corporate finance, using AI to facilitate mergers and acquisitions and things of that nature. But a lot of people talk about, well, AI is going to take over the banking sector and every banker is going to get fired. We actually don't see that. The data points into another direction. We see that about 85 million jobs in the financial sector are going to be washed away or are going to be killed by AI bots and AI agents. But that leaves an opportunity for another 97 million jobs of utilizing AI for finance to be created. So if you're here, if you're interested in this topic, you're certainly at the forefront. And there's about 100 million jobs that are going to be created just for people focused on this specific intersection of the industry. And we're seeing this already happen. So JP Morgan Chase, which Jamie Dimon has different views on Bitcoin, is already investing about $12 billion each year into creating AI bots for finance, right? And like I was mentioning, these AI bots that are under the JP Morgan powerhouse are all looking at assistance for corporate ventures, streamlining global remittance, which is huge, especially from the United States to Mexico, and also looking at how to optimize mergers and acquisitions. But what is the reality, right? Today we are here, November of 2023. You have this guy on stage, and you're like, well, he's the nutty professor. Nothing is really happening. It's all buzzword. It's actually not, right? We're looking at global giants look into AI for finance, like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, IBM. Those are really like the leading guys. But who are the smaller players in the industry that really are making a difference? So you're seeing pioneers in the industry like Numerai, which is an interesting project that looks at incentivizing data scientists to build products on AI products on decentralized finance. You have Ocean Protocol, which does secure data exchanges. So crypto is really good for data exchanges. So as you're integrating these different decentralized platforms, you can utilize cryptocurrencies and crypto models to facilitate the trading of this data. Right? Rendering, which is also fascinating. I was just on a call 2 days ago with a big Bitcoin miner in Eastern Europe that they're now looking to utilize part of their industrial park to do rendering. Because rendering, it's as profitable as Bitcoin mining these days. So you see projects like Fetch AI, who are pioneering into these AI agents, and Singularity Nat created a project called Agix, which is an AI marketplace. So if you're thinking about what can you buy today, which bots can you go to, would highly recommend taking a look at Singularity Nat and Agix. And if you're thinking about where can you work in the space or what entrepreneurial ideas you can have, I give you a couple of them, right? So decentralized GPUs for rendering networks are great. And you can get these GPUs to do a variety of things, including cryptocurrency mining. There's a bunch of hedge funds in Wall Street that are already using AI to create market strategies, right? You have models of market prediction, which is the focus of our core work at the university. And data sharing, like I was mentioning, becomes a really efficient model for resource allocation. But the real thing that it's going to transform this industry is when AI and smart contracts merge together. Because then you're going to have one agent talking to another, but you can actually look at the code and see that the verifications and transactions are legitimized. So you're seeing these decentralized marketplaces and ecosystems come together, and AI agents really managing the flow of capital and information among them. And where do I personally feel that we're going in the right direction? AI and DeFi really brings a lot that we're very accustomed in this industry, right? Which is security and performance of crypto networks. Who here ever got a rug pull? Raise your hand. Yeah, a lot of people got rug pulls, right? It's part of the industry. You're in the industry, you got a rug pull. But AI can really solve that, because with AI bots, you can go through large amounts of data and monitor these large amounts of data for a lot of like security issues, fraudulent transactions, wallets that have been placed on red flagging lists. And these AI algorithms are identifying and mitigating these fraudulent activities so that these crypto assets can become this medium of exchange. And what we're seeing here is that if we merge both self-governing networks, that is a big proposition of crypto, will be a lot more efficient. The idea of having no intermediaries is really going to come to fruition, because the no intermediary, you're going to have an intermediary, which is the AI agent, right? You'll be a lot more secure, efficient, and transparent, and all the buzzwords that you hear in this conference. So this is actually what we're working on. Highly suggest, if you have the time, take a look at the QR code, ping me, come join us. So we're looking at really transform DeFi by providing AI bots that facilitate users just like me and you to play in the space. So we're customizing AI power agents to have on-chain analytics, right? So people can look at this data from a simplified user interaction and customize their user profile. Maybe you are very risk averse, like my lawyer is, right? He's very risk averse. Every time I talk to him, he only poses me the risks. And I'm like, where is the innovation in the risk? But you will be able to create your own profile that is a lot more risk averse than a person like me that is more risk prone. So what we're looking as the first product is really to gather data, and we're looking today at over 76 DeFi protocols in our first model to select these DeFi protocols, right? And we're going to select them mainly ranking them as like, what is their risk for a rug pull or potential scams. We're also looking at data and analyzing code with different code auditing firms to make sure that the code is correct. And that's where AI agents and bots really become a game changer. Because today, if you're going to hire a developer to look at the code, it's very costly, right? And we're evolving in this crypto complex landscape to put on more data for people that are non-experts. So we're committed to doing two things: code reviews, a couple of things, sorry. Code reviews, smart audit risks, leadership teams, and making assessment of what people did in the past, as well as community engagement. How much is that protocol or that DeFi project really getting traction with the community, and minimizing these risks so that you can create a better AI environment for everyone. So the rank select is really our golden goose. We're trying to aggregate all the data that is in the industry, so everyone here and in the ecosystem can look at data from a much more friendly point of view. But two products that we're going to build on that data. And if you're a developer, I highly recommend having a chat, because we would love to have more developers that can use our data to develop bots on. But liquidity management is a huge one, because you will need a bot to operate your portfolio. And also what to do with your liquid staking tokens is something we feel is going to be very in high demand. Here is our initial batch. We're now in the second team. So this is the picture of the first team. We're at the university, and I welcome you. If you're not a member of UCLA, you don't need to be a member of UCLA to participate. And we have a team of 250 data scientists that are looking at this. And we're very, very excited about aggregating data. So if that's something that you think that you're interested in, would love to have a conversation. Here is the textbook that we use at the university. You can find it on this QR code. And if you don't have an Amazon account, you can ping me and I'll send you a free copy. It would be a pleasure. So here is my information where you can find me. Still have like about 8 minutes if you have any questions, but I really wanted to thank everyone for being here and taking the time. And this is a pleasure. Thank you so much. We have questions, or we're going to...
¿Alguna pregunta? Acá.
Do I do it in English or Spanish?
¿Qué quieres?
Mi pregunta era, estaba viendo el tema de los empleos, que vimos que los bancos, por ejemplo, van a perder 85 millones de empleos tradicionales bancarios,
Sí.
pero se van a ganar nuevas oportunidades en el sector de AI. Personalmente, ¿usted ha visto esta aparición de empleos bancarios en AI a su alrededor, en conocidos, contactos de su parte? Te pregunto eso.
Yeah, sure. So the question is, are these jobs going to really disappear, and how am I seeing like the rise of new jobs?
Exactly.
Is that correct?
If you personally, in your own circle,
Yeah. So
have seen it.
I'll tell you something. I am the Uruguayan ambassador for the Global Blockchain Business Council, which is the biggest network of traditional players looking at blockchain technology for finance. It was launched by a dear friend of mine called Sandra Rowe, which, if you research, is the executive that brought Bitcoin to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And why do I say this? Not as a shameless plug for you guys to join the Global Blockchain Business Council, but if you look there's a jobs page, right? And you will see the last time that I was on the website, there was over 1,000 jobs on large corporations like JP Morgan, Bank of America, BNY Mellon, all of these that are looking for devs, and especially if you have an angle that you're looking at data science with AI, these guys are so hungry for you. So highly recommend that you get as much educated into this convergence of this topic as possible. And if you have the time, take a look at the Global Blockchain Business Council jobs page. Was that good? Thank you.
¿Alguna otra pregunta? Ok. Última pregunta.
Hola, ¿cómo va? ¿Hoy crees, teniendo en cuenta cómo la seguridad es un punto importante entre lo que son las instituciones y DeFi, que la IA tenga un rol fundamental para generar este puente y dar esa seguridad hoy en día a lo que son fondos y otras instituciones con respecto a los hackeos que ocurren todos los meses, a los protocolos?
So let me see if I got the question correct. It's like, how is security and DeFi being overlooked by traditional banks and hedge funds, and how do they see that potential risk, and how are they mitigating that? Yeah,
Yes.
Great. So thank you for the question. Great question. So today, what we're usually seeing is the manual utilization of auditing teams, of auditing dev teams that look and select different protocols for traditional finance players to operate in. A couple of drivers that they're looking at is how much liquidity is on that protocol. So if you look, that number that I showed of money inflowing from the US into DeFi, 90% of that money almost goes into Uniswap, because Uniswap has a proven code. It has enough liquidity. And another great driver of that is Maker. So MakerDAO, I assume people here are familiar with MakerDAO. MakerDAO also is tokenizing real-world assets. So that level of liquidity is usually what they're looking at. My opinion and my thesis is that if you can develop bots that do the screening of these different protocols that are now growing out of the numbers, if you go on DeFi Llama, every day there's a new protocol, I think you can significantly grow the industry. Because the main challenge for most traditional players is exactly what you pointed, right? Why am I going to put my money here and then have to call my client and say, oh, I got a rug pull? Good?
Excelente. Ahora sí, última pregunta. ¿Alguien? Acá. Un segundo.
Hola. Mi pregunta va con respecto a este avance que hubo de los Large Language Models y lo que son las DeFi. Hoy en día quizá hay mucha gente que por desconocimiento técnico, por desconocimiento en general, no se quiere meter en las DeFi, y lo mismo pasa quizá con el análisis de todos los datos de mercados y cosas así. Hoy en día tenés que analizar gráficos, muchos datos que son complicados, y quizá con el último avance de las LLM, de las AI, lo que está tendiendo es que se empieza a tratar de que las máquinas empiezan a tratar de entender a la gente y al lenguaje natural que usan. Quería saber qué visión tenés sobre este tema en particular, abocado a este tema, si ves que haya algún proyecto que pueda progresar en ese sentido para que haya más gente que se pueda meter en las DeFi y a poder, digamos, hacer consultas más simples sin tener que tener un conocimiento grande de análisis de datos. ¿Qué visión tenés de eso y si conoces algún proyecto que esté avanzando en ese tema?
This is a fantastic question. So the question is, with these very complex data sets, how do you translate these data sets into something that is more digestible for the average user? Exactly. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. So if you looked at 7vfi.ai, that's our mission, right? And our roadmap is to create models where people, let's say you just want to put $100 into a protocol, and you don't know which protocol you're going to put. You're going to put it on GMX, or you're going to put on some liquid staking. Where are you going to put, right? So we're trying to facilitate that data aggregation into basic visualizations for people that just want to do a play, and all the way into more complex visualizations where people that are deep in the space can look at like liquidity measures and how much of exploits or commitments were done into a specific DeFi smart contract. Super. Well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. I'll be around.